everybody? It's me, the real KBC. And today, we're gonna be doing yet another episode of The King's Decree, the show where I go in depth on characters. Well, more in depth on characters. Right, and certain tropes from TV shows and movies and so on. Um, Today, I'm actually going to be going in depth on Glenn Quagmire from Family Guy. This will be a very interesting video because Quagmire is he's a very interesting character. Um, if you know anything about Family Guy and how mature of a show it is, you will know that Quagmire is quite an extreme character, to say the least. He's a very promiscuous character. If anybody knows what that means, that just means that he has dated a lot of women, or he has slept with a lot of women. And I'm not going to go into detail about that because I'd rather not. I don't want this video to get age restricted, and in general, I'd just rather not go into detail about that. But yeah, anyway, Quagmire is a very interesting character to talk about because he actually started out as a really funny, really cool character. I know how weird that sounds because he was an extremely promiscuous character from the start, a disgusting human being from the start. But he actually seemed like a cool dude for the most part when he wasn't doing nasty things to women. Or sleeping with one of his best friend's wives. Anyway, other than that, Quagmire seemed like a really cool, really funny character. But of course, at some point, he was no longer that cool and funny character. Now he's just an annoying character. He's pompous. He's just a huge jerk to not only even just his friends, but also his own family and literally everybody, and it seems as though he lost a lot of respect for his friends and family, which if you've seen Family Guy is, not entirely unwarranted, but he actually used to be a pretty cool character, but now he's just an incredibly annoying character. At least to me, he's become just incredibly annoying, and he's not funny anymore. He just seems fairly self-righteous and just incredibly annoying. And like he's got his head up his own butt, and he needs to be knocked down a peg, if you know what I mean. Nowadays, Quagmire seems like a really smug character, right? I was gonna say villainous character, but I don't want to go that far. But yeah, Quagmire, yeah, nowadays he's incredibly smug. At first, it seems funny, but it gets really annoying really quickly. And yeah, that's just how I see it with Quagmire. And Quagmire was never really my favorite character in Family Guy. It's just that I actually thought that he was a cool dude for the most part. Of course, I didn't agree with his actions all the time, but yeah, he seemed like a really cool character, and then he entered a really dumb and unnecessary feud with Brian, and then came the episode where his dad uh, went went into gender surgery and became a transgender, which, looking back, was not a terrible episode. Honestly, it's actually not. Sure, I wouldn't say it's a. Sorry, it's not a bad episode. It's not terrible. I wouldn't say it's great either, sure, but it's not a god awful episode necessarily. It's just, yeah, it's a fine episode, I guess, but of course, it has to have the unnecessary and really stupid and just out of nowhere Brian and Quagmire feud that really did just come out of nowhere in the later half of Family Guy. Because in the first half of Family Guy, Quagmire seemed pretty cool with Brian. He didn't really seem to have any ill will towards him, but all of a sudden he does now, which came out of nowhere. And if you know anything about Brian, he's a pompous a-hole too, sure, but he was always a pompous a-hole, if we're being honest. He was always like that. It's just that he's leaned more into that that pompous a-hole persona nowadays. I guess you could say that this is always a part of Brian's character, sure, but it just got worse as time went on. But but Quagmire and him are basically the same character, slightly. Just actually, yeah. When you think about it, yeah, they pretty much are the same character. They actually started out as pretty cool characters. They were rather funny. They could be insightful. They could be rather interesting. They could be incredibly caring for their friends and their family. Now neither of them care for their friends and their family that much. Now they're just pompous a holes. They treat everybody like trash most of the time. Um, they're fairly selfish and just incredibly smug about everything. Like they're weirdly the same character, just with a couple differences here and there. But yeah, I think one of the most annoying parts of Quagmire is definitely his pompousness, his smuggishness, and his unnecessary feud with Brian. I thought that his feud with Brian was not only really dumb but incredibly petty and right out of nowhere. Again, I understand that it makes sense to not like Brian, but him and Brian are fairly similar, so you think they'd get along um, way more than they actually do. But whatever. And then you have the episodes where his father, his transgendered father, is involved. Um, of course, their name used to be Glenn. Sorry. Their name used to be Dan, right? Dan Quagmire, and then they became Ida Davis. So, yeah. So, yeah. And I'm using they them pronouns to remain respectful. Um, if right, because I don't really know too much about transgender characters. Um, but anyway, um, in the episodes where Ida is around, it's pretty obvious how much of an annoying character Quagmire has become. Sure, obviously he cares about his dad. He loves his dad, sure, but those are the episodes that usually have that unnecessary and completely just random Brian feud that he just has to have. Um, and don't even get me started on the episode where his sister Brenda was beaten up by her boyfriend mercilessly, and then Quagmire killed her. That was one of the worst episodes in Family Guy, in my opinion. And Family Guy's had some pretty bad episodes. See Shall See Who Was Party is another one, but in that episode, that was one of the worst episodes, and it really did show how much of an awful character Quagmire's become. He's not likable. He's not funny. He's just incredibly annoying. He's smug. He thinks he knows everything. He treats everybody like trash half the time. He he right. He's just insufferable. That's the best word to describe Quagmire now. He's insufferable. He actually used to be incredibly friendly and outgoing before, but now he's just incredibly insufferable. Even when he cheated, um, sorry, yeah, even when he cheated with Loretta, right? Even when he had that affair with Loretta behind Cleveland's back, Quagmire was still an actually tolerable and not a bad character. I actually I actually felt some sympathy for him because him and Cleveland had come to blows. And it seems as though Cleveland was just gonna beat the stuffing out of him, but he didn't. He almost did, but he didn't. And the fact that Quagmire, when he was cheating with another man's wife, when he was having an affair with another man's wife, his own best friend. The fact that I find that version of Quagmire more tolerable than the version of Quagmire that we have now is very interesting. So yes, yeah, and it certainly doesn't help that Quagmire has become you know what. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but in my opinion, Quagmire is definitely a character that let's just say deserves multiple restraining orders and deserves to be sued for sexual harassment charges, um, one after another, and should definitely be in jail for a very long time. Let's just put it at that. I don't hate Quagmire, but he's just an incredibly insufferable character. He's one of the most annoying characters in Family Guy right now, and it's a shame because I used to like him, but now again, much like Brian, he's just incredibly insufferable, and I don't really enjoy watching him as much. He's just an awful character, just um, just as much as he's an awful person. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, he used to have a lot of character back in the day, but now he's just boiled down to one character or two character traits. I guess you could say they flanderized him. Actually, yeah, I'd say they flanderized him for sure. There's a lot of characters that they flanderized in Family Guy, and um, Quagmire is definitely one of them. Um, yeah. Also, I never understood why they called him Quagmire. That's his last name, right? Like, there's very few people that call him by his first name, Glenn. You'd think more people would do that. This is just a small nitpick. This has nothing to do with Quagmire's character. I just want to point it out that I always found it weird that they always called him um, his last name rather than his first name, but whatever. But yeah, that's all I got. You um, if you agree with what I have said in this video, please just on the comment section. If you disagree with what I said in this video, please just on the comment section. And do you still like Quagmire? Do you think that they flanderized him, or do you not think they flanderized him? Why? Why not? Again, please just on the comment section. And check all the important stuff. It's in the description. As per usual. But don't forget to check that. Um, yeah. Um, if you want more of me, then you all know exactly what to do, and I won't hold your hand through the process. Yeah. This has been the Real Kid BC, and have a nice day, people.